So, I had a thought. Where do we go from here? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, MikeOfAllTrades, coming to you more with a video right after the podcast that I literally thought about during the podcast, during the whole Leak Fest situation that's going on right now. If you guys haven't seen the weekly Retro Party podcast where we discussed all the leaks that have come out last night about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Time Crisis, etc., you guys can watch that here. It's a good live stream. But let's talk about what I want to talk about now. So the leaks happen via GameFly, like who goes to GameFly and searches for Arcade1Up, right? Regardless, these leaks happen and it revealed a lot of things. Couchcades, two-player countercades, certain titles. If you missed out on it, I kind of don't want to go over all of it, whatever else. But the main talking points that came out of it was Time Crisis, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and NFL Blitz. Okay. Not going to speculate about any of those because there are videos being done to death about that. What I want to talk about is what about the future? What happens when you get all these titles that everybody wants? What's left? What do you have to look forward to? If you get your Marvel vs. Capcom 2, whatever else, right? And that's great. I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2, so I'm here for it, okay? But what happens then? Where do you go after that? Were there a lot of titles in the arcade? Yes. But if you continue to get high-end titles and you constantly want more, where do you go? Literally, it's one of those things where you want games, you want them now. It's like the JD Wentworth freaking commercials. It's my money and I want it now.
It's my money and I need it now. It's my money and I need it now.
Or it's my arcade cabinet and I want it now, right? And I get that. But if there are so many Arcade1Ups continuing to be released over and over and over and over, eventually you're going to get to the situation where you're either running out of room, you're selling cabinets that you paid money for, and replacing them, or you just can't buy them, And it's a gift and a curse. It's a good problem to have. I currently have 2 cabinets in a box right now because I literally have nowhere to put them. And it's a good problem, but it's a bad problem. You see, unlike video games that are currently being made, arcade games are finite. And there's only so many you can get. Now, granted, yes, there are other platforms, before anybody says it in the comments, there are other platforms like that thing back there, the iArcade, that can let you download new games to your arcade console, etc., you know what I mean? And that's fine, or that not pretty thing, the Legends Ultimate, where you can use CoinOps X and whatever else, and you can add the games that you want. Cool. But a lot of people, A, don't want to go through the hassle, B, don't want to do the work, and C, just want something that doesn't have a bunch of options, because the more games you have on an option on the cabinet, the less likely you are to play them. So, where do you go? What is Cubert the new hotness? Is Double Dragon? Is that what the people want? Legit. Think about it. Let's talk about Konami for a second, right? Konami's put out The Simpsons, Turtles, and X-Men. Those were the big arcade titles for Konami outside of Contra. Right? And Bucky O'Hare. Because y'all know your boy Mo loves some Bucky O'Hare, right? But think about it in that retrospective, right? If you run through all the Capcom, all the Konami, if you start running through all the Midway titles, right? What's left? Genuinely, what's left? And it's always exciting and it's always great to get new content, to get new games, to get new things that we are excited for, and no one is taking a piss in your Cheerios or anything else like that. But the projection, I remember the leak was like they're going to put out 30 cabinets this year, 30 different SKUs, and legitimately, like, if you look at that leak yesterday, yeah, collectibles, which I'm pretty sure those are just desk crap, you know what I mean? The 2-player countercades, new countercades, the couchcades, which let's be real, it's a direct ripoff of the Legends Mini, using that little box with the boomerang controller that nobody actually bought. repackage, and, you know, new lines and whatever else. And that's fine. But eventually, the stuff's going to run out. Look, real talk. You can only buy Pac-Man so many times. You can only buy Miss Pac-Man so many times. I love Street Fighter, but you can only buy Street Fighter so many times. And those are gonna be like the mainstays. Those are gonna be the ones that you see forever. You know, those are gonna be the forever line. You know, in that leak, there was a new Street Fighter 2 Legacy cabinet on there. Hopefully it has Wi-Fi, right? But then what? Once you get your Time Crisis and your House of the Dead, and maybe, you know what I'm saying, let's say they do Star Wars trilogy in the future, where do you go from there? I think what people are forgetting is that there's only a certain amount of arcade cabinets and arcade titles that can be replicated and recreated, unless you start getting to the real bottom of the barrel with titles. So keep it in mind. You know, I think that maybe not slow down, but more of a hesitated approach is needed. And yo, stop leaking stuff. Some of us like our E3 announcements and our CES announcements, man. Sometimes we don't want to know everything. Sometimes we want genuine shock and awe. We don't need to know everything right away. Some things it's just good to find out, man. It's literally just good to find out. But with all the leaks and the titles that have been leaked and announced, the real question becomes, if NFL Blitz is real, what's the community going to scream for next? We got Killer Instinct. Apparently we're getting NFL Blitz. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, according to GameFly, we're getting that. And we're getting Time Crisis. Where do you go from there? Where do you go after that? Let me know in the comments. I'm MikeOfAllTrades. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and let's get the discussion going. Later.